Business Live today.
Hi, my name is Derek. Thanks for making a date once again. The Ghana Union of Traders Association has criticized a move by government to review the country's laws to open up the retail market for all eligible foreign retailers to sell their goods and services. CEO of the Ghana Investment Promotion Center, Yofi Grant, had argued that an expansion of the local retail market in Ghana would not only facilitate free trade between ECOWAS states, but also make the Ghana private sector much competitive. But speaking to Joy Business, the director of protocol at GUTA, Richard Amamo, revealed that the aim of free trade remains displaced if government fails to address the influx of the local market by foreigners.
No one is saying that Ghanaians are afraid of competition. But in every country, there is protectionism sort of in trading. Even the whole almighty USA. When you look at the charts that we have on Trade Alert, when you look at it, you see that USA is leading in the protectionism measures, followed by India, then China and the rest. You see, so if those people are even initiating have those protection measures in protecting their businesses, what about Ghana? Ghana is now coming. We don't even have, how many factories do we have in Ghana? And when you see that we need incentives, what kind of incentives? Let's interrogate the incentives that he's talking about.
So you're saying that you have an issue with what the JIPC boss is saying?
Certainly so. We met him on the 7th of June, and he was saying that he was being misquoted. And I, for instance, asked him, then he should go on air and then maybe send a rejoinder, sort of, that what he said, he has been misquoted. But as we speak, I have not heard anything of that sort, because we went there to interrogate the kind of incentives that he's talking about, and then the protectionism that we all know when with regards to trade. So if you are saying that Ghanaians need incentives, what kind of incentives are you bringing on board? Do you understand me? So you cannot just throw in, a statement for all of us to take it, because so far as we are concerned, Ghanaians are trying their best. Okay. Do you understand? The cost of capital in Ghana is not a small this thing.
Absolutely.
ECOWAS protocol is fine, but Ghana is independent, and we don't have harmonized measures. I don't know how to put it, but we don't have a situation whereby whatever happens in Nigeria is happening here. It is now that they are trying to do something of that sort by the introduction of the CET, the common external tariffs issues. We are seeing it in that direction, that if you import something through other ECOWAS country, you will pay the same percentages and the rest. This is what we are seeing that they are trying. Until that, we don't have it. So until that, I don't think once we don't have harmonized code for everything, and Ghana is an independent country.
Meanwhile, Richard Amamo is also calling on all foreign retailers to make sure that they abide by the retail laws of Ghana so as to prevent any possible confrontations by their competitiveness in the local market.
The only thing that we ask His Excellency Nana Akufo-Addo, that he should implement the law, and he promised that he will implement the law. So what we are now seeing, is like weak enforcement of the law. Do you see? So we are not calling for any other thing. We are calling for the implementation of the law, because the law now, we have penalties and offenses. When you look at the 846 clause 40 G thereabout, it talks about what will be meted out to landlords who rent their shops to foreigners. Do you understand me? So the laws are there. Let's implement it, and we'll see that those things will be a thing of the past.
You have spoken about engaging with government. You've talking about the fact of raising advocacy in this very situation. Aside this, are there specific ways by which local business retailers here in Ghana are, drawing the attention of governments to make them understand that, hey, this is our land, and of course, we have the rights to operate?
For us, we believe in multifaceted approach, and we believe strongly that all our members, our sub-regional executives are doing their best. They are engaging their regional ministers. We at the national are also trying to engage with the power that be. And we did that with Mr. Yofi Grant for, being our when we talk about investment, and he's the chief executive. And for that matter, when there is something of that sort, we have to sit with him. So we've done that. We've met.
We want to update you now on another important development within the day. The Supreme Court has overturned an earlier ruling by appeals courts that compelled NIB to pay over $100 million in judgment debt. George Rafi was in court for Joy Business and joins me with some more details. George, first of all, background to this development story.
Well, somewhere in 2007, the managing director of NIB, that was Daniel Jima, actually issued more of a promissory note for inland company that was trying to bring in some sugar from outside. Now, another company actually gave the money to Inland International to bring in this consignment or commodity into the country, running into of about $45 million. Now, under the arrangement, NIB came in to more of issue a guarantee that if the company should fail to pay the money when the promissory notes mature, then they will step in to give the money. So as time went on, there was a change in management. The new management came in. And when the promissory note matured, the management then said that they can't honor this payment because it wasn't approved by the entire board. It was rather just the managing director that actually approved it. So the East Investors, Dominion Corporate Capital, actually took the issue to court. That is the Accra High Court. They won the case. They took it to the appeals court. They won the case because NIB kept on challenging that ruling. And then they won all these two lower courts ruled on their behalf that actually NIB should pay the money running down to over $120 million to this company. But when they took it to the High Court, that the Supreme Court today, the Supreme Court sat on the case, presided over by the new Chief Justice of Akufu, this 5-member panel, and then they ruled that there were issues about the fact that these investors couldn't show their face. They can't identify them, and also issues about capacity. So all those lower rulings or by the earlier court, let's set it aside. NIB don't pay any money to these investors who actually give the money to Inland International to bring in this commodity.
All right, so what has been the reaction of the various parties to this ruling by the Supreme Court?
So let's start first with NIB. They are really excited. Robertson Apacha, he is the corporate lawyer for NIB. He's been speaking about it. Let's watch him.
Plaintiffs had brought a case against the bank for an amount of $60 million US, which they said the bank guaranteed. Now, that guarantee was issued by our former managing director. Okay, and then we lost the case at the High Court. We appealed to the Court of Appeal. The Court of Appeal affirmed the decision of the High Court. But we were always confident that, this is not a case that the bank was liable. And therefore, we appealed to the Supreme Court, and we've been vindicated. It was very key. So, it was really a technical knockout. The court did not go into the merits of the case, but we raised a preliminary objection to the fact that the writ that they brought to court was not proper according to the rules of court. The court said that the writ that was issued at the High Court was a nullity, was void, and therefore all consequential, things that followed were also void. And so the High Court judgment had been set aside. The Court for Appeal judgment has also been set aside. Yes, we just want to thank them for being with us. This case has really put a stress on the bank because people were not sure as to where we were going. But now that this matter is over, the bank is poised to go forward. We are inviting all our customers to be confident, to have confidence in the bank, and they should do business with the bank.
Corporate lawyer for NIB sharing the views of the bank there that, well, good for them. They are going ahead to do business as usual.
Okay, so help us understand what the implications would have been on NIB if they lost the case.
Well, we're looking at interest. The money was around $60 million. Interest running up to $120 million. Now, even if NIB has the stated capital of 120 million Ghana cedis, that is the stated capital. Sell all their assets. I doubt whether we have to even this amount. It might be more than that. And that meant that they could go ahead and attach all the assets of NIB, sell it to defray this. That could have led to the collapse of the bank.
Does this end the case?
Well, Yes and no, because for the other party, they said the Supreme Court ruling was on the fact that they failed to identify those investors that actually lent the money to Inland International. So if they file another writ and they're able to give the names, it could see that the case can be opened again. But as said now, technically the case has ended, and even a judgment has been awarded against that company or the company that they issued that promissory note. They should pay around 500,000 Ghana cedis to NIB to take care of their costs. So technically, maybe the case has ended.
All right, George Rafi, thanks very much.
Thank you so much
for that update. Moving on, Energy Minister Boakye Jako is assuring victory for Ghana in the ITLOS ruling between Ghana and Cote d'Ivoire. According to him, Ghana's legal team has done a great job so far in defending his case during the hearing. Ghana and Cote d'Ivoire are having a boundary dispute at the International Tribunal of the Law of the Sea over some portions of the Trinidad in Rentme field. Now, speaking at the 10th anniversary of oil discovery in Ghana, Boakye Jako assures potential investors to have confidence and explore more on the 10 field.
I am happy to inform this august audience that the Petroleum Commission has made tremendous strides in the implementation of the local content policy and local content regulation. The government, with your support, will continue to implement policies that will ensure that this growth is sustained and increased to much higher levels. Mr. Chairman, there are, however, some challenges that as stakeholders we must overcome through concerted efforts. Indigenous Ghanaian companies and professionals face capacity challenges. The cost and access to capital, which basically erodes significant components of benefits provided for in the regulations to indigenous Ghanaian companies. I know that the Petroleum Commission is not oblivious of these challenges and are working tirelessly with all stakeholders to overcome these challenges. Ladies and gentlemen, the growth of Ghana's petroleum industry has not been without challenges. There is currently a maritime boundary dispute between Ghana and La Côte d'Ivoire, with a final judgment by ITLOS expected by September 2017. The Ghana legal and technical teams have put in their very best efforts. Consequently, we are very hopeful of securing a favorable decision.
Energy Minister Boakye Jako, the confident Ghana will win that maritime dispute case against Ivory Coast. My colleague Ebenezer Sabute was at that event for us. What else came up, Eben?
Yes, Darryl, the Minister of Energy was sought to assuring investors that, yes, we have a case at the International Tribunal of the Law of the Sea, but that doesn't mean investors who want to come in to explore on the Ghana's oil field should stay back. This is the time for them to come. There has been issues with local content participation. So the issue of local content came up strongly during the stakeholders forum. And this is what they have been saying, that formally you can front for foreigners. Foreigners come in, they look out for local people, and then they say they are the owners of the place, and then they give them the job. This time around, fronting is going to be, a criminal offense, and they are going to be dealt with severely. So any local person, any local, company who want to front in for a foreign company should be very careful in that sense. There has also been an issue about Ghana exploring about 200 million barrels of oil per day. By the end of 2018 as a target. It's been 10 years since we've explored oil. And moving forward, we are looking at ways in which we can maximize our gains in the sector. So the Petroleum Commission, the Ghana National Petroleum Corporation, which is GNPC, which is representing Ghana on the oil field, came to give us some assurance that this time around we are going to spread the revenue from the oil resource. So it's not going to be only southern sector-based development, but it's going to cut across the whole nation, such that even people in the north, southern, western, and all the regions will have the benefit of the oil find. So these are some of the issues that came up from the forum. And
I'm sure there are issues you're going to be discussing in the days to come. Thanks very much, Ebenezer Sabute, for that update. You're watching Business Live. We're taking a short break. We're back with the Joy Business Van.
Business Live today.
Welcome back to our program. Now, many chocolate confectionaries on the Ghanaian market are imported. This could be described as rather unfortunate, especially for a country which is a leading producer of cocoa. Later today, or right now, on the Joy Business Van, we meet one of the pioneers of bean-to-bar chocolate making, poised to change the story. She's with Nana Mamwa, the owner of the Sweet Art Company, creators of Moments Chocolate.
Hi, welcome Joy Business Van. My name is Nana Mamwa, founder of the Sweet Art Company, the makers of Moments Premium Ghanaian Chocolates.
In her father's garage, Ruth makes her chocolate confectionaries from bean to bar. Ruth got inspired at an entrepreneurial conference to add economic value to the country's numerous raw materials.
So what I did, I went home the next day and I wrote out all the raw materials that I thought we had in Ghana. I wrote some that probably we don't even have to. But then I wrote gold, I wrote oil palm, I wrote cocoa, and a few others. I literally took it one by one. I was like, hey, what can I do with this? I knew I couldn't do anything with gold because I couldn't get gold. I didn't have any money. And then I started cutting it off like that. And so I was left with cocoa. And then I remember when I was living in England, I always used to mention how I didn't like the packaging of Ghanaian chocolate. So that for me was like a unique thing that I could get into and make a mark for myself.
That began an entrepreneurial journey that has spanned close to 2 years. Ruth had no idea about chocolate making, but that wouldn't stop her from going to the central regional village of Ejumaku Besiase to get a bag of cocoa beans to experiment with. You're going to teach me how to do this, are you?
I think so.
Okay, so where do we start? Oh, come on. Okay. Where do we start from?
Okay, so the general process of making chocolate is normally would start from the roasting, but that's tell a lie. It would normally start from the sorting of the beans. So when we get a bag of beans, it has a lot of debris in there, a lot of hairs from the dogs that have been, well, I'm not trying to put people off chocolate, but that's actually what it is.
Yeah.
So it has a lot of stuff in there that we have to take out. So we generally do that outside because the beans are contaminated before they're roasted. So we would spread it out and take out all the bad beans, you know, all the stuff that you don't want to see in there. We'll take that all out and then we go into the roasting process. It's we have a manual roaster that we kind of like manually do it. See how my arms are all anyways. Okay, and so basically that's what happens. And then once we're done, we bring it here. So this is roasted beans. It's quite easy to crack once it's roasted. You do this, you'll crack it,
okay,
and then you'll get the nib in there.
Okay.
So normally this is called a nib. So you want to try one, you crack it yourself.
Okay. Hope I don't destroy it.
Oh no, you know, it doesn't matter because the nibs will be destroyed anyway. You want to taste? It's better.
Ruth's first chocolate, as she recalls, didn't turn out quite well.
We roasted the first batch. The whole place smelled of brownies. It was just lovely. Like, I just love the smell of cocoa beans. But yeah, it was really, we roasted it. We're like, okay, what next? We made a batch of chocolate that was like, I wish I'd kept that chocolate. It was horrible. It wasn't good.
Ruth was not deterred. Fast forward, she makes very good, very, very good chocolate confectionaries. Once the cracking is done, special ingredients are added and it goes into the grinding machines. I get to try my hands on molding the chocolates and then to the fridge. We're actually molding chocolates in my name. That's the final level. Nice.
Chef's on a mission.
Ruth had at the back of her mind she had to make unique products if her chocolate would go far.
We have very vibrant varieties, and that's because we wanted to kind of do something different from the norm, and so we don't have actual flavor in there. So if it's toffee, it's actual toffee in there. If it's ginger, there's actual ginger. This one actually, you'll bite into ginger in there.
I've never tasted chocolate with ginger.
Yeah, so this has orange and ginger.
Wow.
So stuff like that. So we try to put inclusions in there that are different. So we don't want it to be the norm on the market. And if we're doing a premium brand, our packaging also makes a difference. You'll see that our packaging is quite fanciful. And also, so all those things make, so we have 8 different varieties of chocolate.
8 varieties and still counting. Her Moments brand has grown in the last 2 years, and patronage is very good, both here in Ghana and abroad.
And there's a lot I want to do. So it's a sweetheart company, so we're into confectionery. So we'll be going into other confectionery. We have started, but on a very small scale. So we'll go into a lot of other confectionery along the line. And we're trying, I want Moments to be the best chocolate maker in the world, really, because I think wherever the best raw material comes from, we really should have the best product. So Ghana is the 2nd largest producer of cocoa in the world. We should have one of the best chocolates in the world. Love, Daryl.
Nice chocolates. Well, we want to move on now to bring you our busy bits for today.
Here's how to make columns in Word. As usual, there are multiple ways to do anything in Microsoft program. Here's just one of the ways. 1. Type your text into Word. Don't worry if it is initially in a single column format. It is very easy to change it. 2. Highlight the text that you want to change to 2 or more columns. 3. Select Format and then Columns from the menu bar. 4. Select the number of columns you want to have and click OK. Note, you can make additional changes such as the width of the columns and the width of the gutter or space between the columns.
Joy Business Van, empowered by Joy Business.
And thanks for tuning in tonight. That'll be it for Business Live. There's always some more business news on our website by joyonline.com/business. My name is Daryl Kwao. I'll see you tomorrow.